Let's take a break from working on the motorhome to look at the Anglia Classic Car Auctions sale that is taking place tomorrow, Saturday and Sunday, the 5th and 6th of April. There are something like a stupid number of cars in this sale. In fact, coming closer and I'll tell you. So let's start at the top with the headline numbers then. 375 lots crossing the block over 2 days. 14 of these are MGs, of which 8 are MGB Roadsters. We've got 4 Midgets, 2 MGB GTs and 5 modern MGs, 4 of which are ZTs. There's 15 Triumphs in the auction, but 5 of those are motorbikes. So seems like everybody is selling their MGs at the same time. Could be a real good chance to get yourself a bargain MG if you're into midgets. If you're not into midgets, then don't worry about it. There's plenty for you in this auction. And I'm going to scan through the entire sale very quickly. And then I'm going to pick out my choices for the sale. And let me know which ones you like in the comments. Right, let's go. I'll record my screen. And starting at lot number 300, we're going down all the way. I think the final lot is it 675? Look how far the auction goes. The final lot is indeed number 675, so you can understand why I'm not choosing to talk about every single car. Let's just pick some highlights. Right, Riley Elf Volvo 340 Sunbeam Alpine. That Sunbeam Alpine looks rather lovely. Not really bothered about the Volvo 340 because, as you know, if you watch my channel, Volvos have to be estates. Mini Moke, you'll know from watching my previous auction videos, is totally useless in the UK. Vauxhall Astra GTE, I'm amazed that wasn't crashed and burnt out and used in a bank job on a council estate. Subaru Impreza Turbo 2000 all-wheel drive, it's a yes from me. Daimler V8 250, £6,000 to £8,000, and then the Daimler Sovereign, both looking rather lovely. Morris 10.4, £4,000 to £6,000. What a great little car that is. Morris Minor convertible, that thing is looking fantastic. And there's the first of the MGB Roadsters. Ford Escort 55 van, 1 registered owner. The Ford geeks will be losing their mind over that. Absolutely love this 1965 Ford Cortina Mark 1 GT estate. That is super cool. And is that a Webasto sunroof that I see on there? £7,000 to £9,000. Be interested to see what that makes. Here's the first of 4 midgets, if you're into midgets, and I'm going to keep making that joke because it's always funny. There will be a few midgets on display at the Anglia Classic Car Auction sale. So if you're into midgets, then it's the place for you. £5,500 to £6,500 for that one. Seems expensive for a midget. I thought they were cheaper than that, but depends how long you keep it for. 1991 Ford Sierra 1.6 laser estate. No reserve on that. Not sure about the tinted windows, but find me another one. They're just not out there anymore. Daimler 66 5.3. That's a V12, isn't it? That's a great way to use a lot of petrol. Opel Manta GTE. It'd be interesting to see what the Manta makes. Mostly because I'm friends with Ian, and Ian's got a Monza, and that means I'm interested in Vauxhalls. BMW E21 320 Bauer convertible. The Bauers never make as much money as the normal, inverted commas, convertibles. You've got one here. It's a 320 convertible. It's got the weird big front lip on it. And do you know what? I was thinking about these BMWs earlier today, the E36 and the E30. I used to hate them because I lived on the outskirts of Birmingham, and I just associated lowered chrome rims E30 and E36 convertibles with what went on further in Birmingham, if you catch my drift. So it's amazing that they ever got popular. 1969 Fairthorpe TXS has probably got an amazing story, but my gosh, that car is ugly. 1949 Austin A40 Devon. Again, very cool, just for like nipping to the shops and stuff. Another Mini, we know Minis do well. Mercedes SL, Singer Vogue Saloon. I love the Singer Vogue Saloon. I'll have a little read into that and see if it's on the road, because I still do fancy a tax and MOT exempt car. Don't own one at the moment. I also really like this Triumph Herald 13-60 convertible. That just looks a lovely thing. Fiat X19, these are doing okay in auctions as well. And then the Metro, look at that, square headlamp Metro 1983. That's quite an early Metro, isn't it? 5 to 7. A couple of Land Rovers. Obviously, I like the one with the soft roof. Another Mini, and a 911 3.4 Tiptronic S convertible. If I were you, I wouldn't buy a cheap 911 out of an auction. Ask me how I know. VW Colour concept car. Got a lot of Volkswagen tax on that, and it looks like the rear suspension's collapsed, so it's a no from me. And I don't think that CLK 230 Elegance really deserves to be in the classic auction. And I also don't think any of the cars on this road do either. MX-5 Berkeley's pretty cool. Mini Cooper S, you will brake when you drive it hard. And the Mercedes 190.
I preferred those when they were 500 quid. Here we have a Rovers 75 V6 2.5 connoisseur automatic. Don't know who's buying that. Vauxhall Cavalier 1.8 Expression. An expression of what, exactly? That Honda Civic will do £5,000. Peugeot 309 1.9 GTI 2.7 to 3.7. Looks a bargain, actually. Going to need a little bit of work at that money, but a lot cheaper than a 205 GTI. Not bothered about Wallace & Gromit's van. Peugeot 106 GTI, very cool little cars and starting to find their way because people my age are starting to buy the cars that they used to have back in the day. BMW 630 convertible, ooh, black with beige, very nice. Another 1983 Austin Metro, looks cleaner than the last one, £5,000 to £7,000. Lovely looking little car. Rover P5B, very cool Rover. I do like the P5B. Another Porsche 911, definitely don't buy that. 1959 Morris Mini Traveller. Actually, when I said to little Geoff this morning, when I was preparing the research for this video, what would be your pick of the day? That would be his. So if you buy that Morris Minor Traveller, let me know and we can take little Geoff for a run in it. Subaru Impreza WRX, there seem to be a few Subarus coming through and they are quite cool. Honda Civic Type R, and then a Healey Sprite, which is almost a midget. Another BMW E30, this one's a 325 Cabriolet, looks like the cleanest of the bunch. And then a Fiesta XR2, going to be interesting to see what the XR2 sells for, because as you know, Ford values are about as good as working out what the stock market is doing. Another Mini, that one looks nice, I think it's brown or mauve. But nobody in the world knows what colour mauve is and where the cutoff point is between when brown becomes purple. Another MG, there's loads of these MG ZTs in this auction. I don't really get the appeal, to be honest, but I really like this Ford Granada Scorpio 24-valve Cosworth. Very cool car. Volkswagen Beetle 1200, could be a bargain going in at no reserve. Nissan Figaro, they've got quite a following. And then a C32 AMG, and like all C-Class Mercedes of that age, it's many different colours because it has many amounts of rust. Although it looks like all of that has been repaired, but that does look like it's 50 shades of grey. Could be a bargain because of that. Very capable car, supercharged engine. SLK 350 automatic, black wheels, so I'm out. Porsche 944S, £6,000 to £8,000. Another MGB Roadster, a Mondeo, Peugeot 205, Alfa Romeo Giulia, a London Taxi. Why is anyone buying a London Taxi? The Smart 44 Brabus. Nice. I didn't know they did a Brabus edition of the 4.4. That's a sensible little car, that. You should buy that. Mazda MX-5 looks boring in silver. Volkswagen Polo C. Probably all the car you'll ever need. Absolutely beautiful little things. I had a white one and I loved it to bits, little Polo bread van. 2.5 to 3.5. I like it at 1,500 quid. MGF Steptronic with hydrogas rear suspension that looks like it needs a service. Rover P6 3,500 with no reserve. Another MG ZT. Another Rover P5B. Another MG ZT. Buick Wildcat. Left-hand drive. You know Geoff buys cars. You know that I love that car. Estimate 4 to 6. If that's running and driving, I might check a cheeky bid on that and see if we can snag it cheap, because I don't reckon anyone will buy it. That's the sort of thing that I'd drive away with at £3,000. BMW Z3 2-litre M-Spec. Don't like the wheels or the colour or the chrome windscreen. Volkswagen Corrado 16-valve. It's not a VR6. Golf GTI Mark II. That could do well. It's a big bumper model. Chevrolet CST30 pickup, left-hand drive. Again, sign me up. I'm there. It's even got horns on the front bumper. Geoff, you are such a redneck. I know. Range Rover Vogue SE automatic, lovely red colour. Jaguar XJ 3.2 executive, that's beautiful. Sport model, so no chrome. And then a couple of these Cavalier Cabriolets. Quite who ordered that Cavalier in those colour combinations when they were new. There shouldn't be two of those still around. It's a terrible green colour with a terrible orange interior, and they've both got the wrong wheels on them. I'm out. Ford Fiesta Encore 1997. Love that shape Fiesta because it's what I learned to drive in, and I reckon that Ford Focus, you could get away with anything if you were driving that around. Jaguar XKR 4.2 Coupe, that looks like a nice car. It's a late model, very cool. Those are doing well at the moment in auctions. Triumph Spitfire Mark IV, haven't we seen this one in an auction before? MG ZT, another one there. And then the Bentley Arnage red label. Everybody all together now, how much is it worth? 12 grand. Because you've been watching my previous videos, and we know that all Bentleys and Rolls Royces in that shape are worth 12 grand. Jaguar XJ6 Sport Auto, like that as well. Not too bothered about the Mini Cooper, but hang on a minute, Geoff. That is red, white mirrors, white roof, those early 5-spoke wheels. That's the Mini Cooper that's going to become a classic. So, That's the one to buy. Subaru Impreza Turbo 2000 at 15 to 18. Another midget here, a 1972 midget. Let's move on. We don't want to talk about midgets. 1988 Volvo set. I love the Anglia Classic Car Auction. I had a really good time, but I just wasn't sure about the midgets. 1988 Volvo 740 GLE, no reserve. Cool looking car, that. And then this Golf 1.5 GL Auto. Just buy it and use it. That looks cool. 2008 Mazda MX-5. Boring, but probably the only car you will ever need. They are the perfect all-rounder. Mercedes C180 Auto should be in the Wednesday night auction. That's boring as hell. 1970 Land Rover Series 2 Peugeot J7 van. That van should come with an espresso machine. And then a Toyota Hilux, which we know is the unkillable car. 13 to 15,000 pounds, and it will make it because that car will survive the apocalypse. I also quite like this Land Rover Discovery TDI in this kind of flat blue. That's cool. Not interested in the Renault Master. I know everyone says, Jeff, you could turn it into a motorhome. I'm not interested in turning ambulances into motorhomes. Too many bad things have happened in ambulances. I just couldn't do it. 94 Jeep Wrangler 4 litre. I'm sorry, that's cool. It just is. 5.5 to 6.5. BMW 745 Auto. I think that's the Chris Bangle designed one. Was that the guy's name? I don't like the style of that, but I know my good friend Matt Bavaria really does. I prefer an E38. Jaguar XJ6 Gold 3.2 Auto. Another Mercedes that's boring. Mondeo, Astra, CLK. SLK compressor, sorry. Not really interested in any of those. M3 convertible, there's quite a lot around. Now, Alfa Romeo SBV Series 3 Cloverleaf. That is a beautiful car. 7 to 8,000 pounds, looks an absolute bargain. And Jaguar XJSs have been doing well since Chris Harris started going on about them. And what I like about that one is it's got the US spec headlights, which I think look really good. Golf Mark 3 VR6, interesting car. Mercedes A140 Classic, we all know they fell over. Lancia Aurelia needing a lot of work. Is it going to find a buyer? Be interesting to see. Should be worth lots of money, but all the people that want to pay lots of money for that have recently died out. 96 Mercedes SL 320 Auto with the big AMG wheels. Those are the ones that people of my generation really want to have. Vauxhall Corsa VX Racing. Capable little car, but I prefer the Tigra Checkers. Very cool. BMW 645 CI convertible automatic. I like those big wheels on that. That kind of early style, early wheels. And then the Ford Taunus 17M. It's a little bit American. I love it. And I love the Yugo 55. Land Rover the Yugo 55 is no reserve. What do we think that's going to make, ladies and gentlemen? Place your bets in the comments below. Defender 90, Subaru SVX. Yes to the SVX, obviously. And yes to the W126, even though it's got white walls on it. Another Defender, an XK, and another Defender, a Jag, Volvo 850 T5. We'll have a look at that, but it looks like it's a bit too much of a project to me. But if it can be snagged cheap, it's worth buying. Renault 19 RSI Executive Convertible. I love a Renault 19. You might not know that. Sierra, Honda Pro U, Jeep Wrangler, Ferrari? I said Ferrari. It's a Volvo. Wow, Jeff, you really have lost the plot. Ferrari 460 Li Auto with only 15,000 miles, and then a Jaguar Sovereign and a Saab limousine. I've said it before, and I'll say it again. I love the idea of limousines. The best day you buy a limousine is the day that you pick it up, and the second best day is the day you get rid of it, because it's just so difficult to work out what to do with it in between. Ford Fiesta 1.1 Mark II left-hand drive. Again, I think I've seen that car before. Cavalier SRI and a Citroen ZX Volcane. Look at these two. 93 Cavalier and a 92 Citroen ZX. I love it. I love them both. Very cool. Nissan Stagia, if you're into Japanese stuff, that's probably one for you. I don't know much about them. And then here we go. 2001 Porsche 996 911 3.6 C4 convertible. 10 to 12. Check the left-hand exhaust pipe for smoke, but that is very nice. I like it a lot. Mercedes-Benz W123 230e. It's a yes from me. BMW 735, a proper BMW 7 Series with no reserve. Could be a bargain. Honda Mobilio Spike Auto. Worth buying for the shape and the name. Another Mini, S4T Quattro Audi, Reliant Scimitar, and a Volvo 760 GLE Estate. Scimitar's looking nice, but I'm not bothered. Princess Anne had one of those. And the Volvo 760, estimate 2.5 to 3. That car will last forever. It's the later one as well. The earlier ones are known as the square grille models. I prefer the earlier ones. Smart Roadster Coupe Brabus. Someone needs to buy both of the Smarts in this auction, please. Buy the 4.4 and the Brabus, and then I can come around and make a video. And then we've got another midget. This time a yellow midget. And I don't mean Chinese. You can't say that, Jeff. You cannot talk about Chinese midgets in a video about classic cars. Saab 9.3 Aero convertible. It's an Aero, and that's going to go for cheap. That's a fast car. The Range Rover TD-V8, I suspect, will do strong money. Citroen Traction Avant, Mitsubishi Shogun hardtop. That's very cool. Land Rover Defender. I don't know what that FO as Nomad is, but someone needs to just bin that. Citroen 2C V6. Bedford, MGB, Camper, Spitfire, Camper, A60, A35, A35, Leyland Mini, another XJS R 5.3, Austin A35, Austin A40, Honda Civic, Rover Metro, Vauxhall Rascal. I love it because it's called a Rascal. Escort 1.3, Range Rover Classic, Range Rover 3.5 V8. Right. Going to be very interesting to see what lot number 473 makes, the Rover 3.5 V8. Then we're into Ford Fiesta XR2 Project. Just don't bother. Like, the bubbles burst on those cars. It's not worth it. Then a load of motorbikes, which I'll skip over because nobody cares about motorbikes, but secretly I do, and I really like the Triumph Daytona. I also really like the Honda CB125. Where is it? I saw it earlier on. There it is. Honda CB125T. Perfect if you're looking to get into motorbiking. Let's skip through the rest. Oh no, I do like the 1998 Honda CBR 600 because 1998 was the last time I bought a motorbike magazine and that was the bike that was in it. Moving on, before we get distracted by the fact that I do actually like motorbikes. Don't tell anyone. Some old stuff that I'm not interested in, but I really like this 1938 Wolseley 1460. I just think that's an imposing car, very cool, as is the Jaguar 420G, and it's a manual. Pretty cool. Couple of Rovers, including a Vitesse, Austin Metropolitan, Bond mini car, Fiat 500F. I'm not going to edit this video, so I'm just going to roll with it. Topless midget is a midget with no top. And that'll be dancing around, I guess, on Sunday. I really like the 1959 Plymouth station wagon left-hand drive, but again, you all knew that I was going to pick that car because you know that I love American station wagons. Lot 556A, this is a cool car, CLK 500 Avant-Garde. Kind of understated, but I think it's actually a 5.4 litre V8 in that. Land Rover S1, Golf Cabriolet, Toyota Celica, Mercedes CLK, RX-8, Toyota Hilux, Bentley, Ford Tudor, Land Rover 90. Not interested in most of that, but I do really like that Ford Tudor. Very, very cool car. And on the next row, we've got a Mondeo 2-litre gear, rapid fit, touring car replica. Cheap. That will go cheap, and it will definitely snap some necks whilst you're driving along. So, worth buying if you like just posing, because I had a touring car Volvo for a while, and honestly, the looks you get are amazing. It's better than driving a supercar. Toyota Land Cruiser FJ43, very cool. And then a Citroen BX GTI 4x4. I didn't even know that they did a BX GTI 4x4, so that's cool. I quite like the Sunbeam Talbot and the Peugeot 205, and I do love the Civic VTI S Jordan. I've always fancied one of those, £4,000 to £6,000. And the Unimog, that'll be good in the forthcoming apocalypse. This 92 Vauxhall Carlton Diplomat's looking tempting at no reserve. Rover 75, Renault Clio, Defender, Spectre 130, Spectre Evocation. Actually a sensible buy because the original Spectres were not road legal. That one is. Subaru Impreza WRX, another MGB GT, Morris Minor, Mercedes 190, Morris Minor, Toyota Starlet Glanzer V Turbo. It's a yes from me, and I know it's a yes from you lot. But also pretty well known for being found in central Birmingham. MGB GT Jubilee, and then a Z4, XK8, Defender, MX5, another Volvo 340, another mini moke that's useless, Rover SD1, 18 to £22,000, I'm out. Ford Capri Laser, 8 to 10, that looks like a nice buy. Aston Martin Vantage V8s, those sound phenomenal for the money. Mercedes W115, nice looking car for 9 to 10, but you'll spend a fortune. Is this the same car? No, this 911 is a Tiptronic, 10 to 12. So if you fancy taking a risk on a 996 like my friend who bought the car did, then go for it. Bentley Turbo R, as we all know, it's worth 12 grand. 1931 Austin 7, another boring Mercedes, a Jaguar E-Type, 28 to 32 for a 2+2, 4.2 Series, 1.5 Coupe Auto. Be interesting to see what that makes. Golf R32, Jensen Interceptor, the car with the coolest name in the world. I quite like the CLK 63 AMG at 16 to 18 grand, a lot of car for the money. And a Noble M12 GTO. What I like about the Noble is it doesn't look like a £36,000 car. It looks $1 million. Hillman Imp, We've got Imps and Midgets in this one. Ford Capri 2 litre, Austin Mini Countryman, Daimler V8 250, beautiful car. And how good does this Aston Martin DB9 Volante look? Morris Minor 1000, Peugeot 205, 1.9 CTI. Those used to be 1,500 quid. That's 12 grand on the estimate, crikey. Ford Fiesta 1.1, Buick Special, left-hand drive. I'm not interested because it's not a wagon. Nissan Micra, Fiat 500 and a Mini. MGB V8, 2 Sierra Cosworths. Now, let's see what these sell for. The white one, proper whale tail Cosworth, 65 to 75. The burgundy one, I think, is beautiful. I would say that's the better buy. 22 to 26 on that one. So let's see. I love this Bentley Azure in the middle. Looking forward to the days when those come down to 12 grand, like all the others. Triumph TR6, and I really like this 1937 AC Special. That's just a cool thing to rock around in. Fiesta XR2, again. Rolls-Royce Phantom 2, I'm going to guess unsold on that one. Morris Minor Traveller, 8 to 10. Toyota Hi-Ace. Do you remember the Hi-Aces used to be everywhere? And I love this Aston Martin Lagonda as well, because I like cars that are different. 55 to 65 on that, and it's red. Jaguar XK150 looks incredibly cheap at 35 to 40. Got no reserve. E36 M3 Evolution. Morgan 44, really like the colour scheme in the Morgan 44. Not having anything off that row, or that row, although the XR4's sort of kind of interesting, and I guess a yellow Interceptor's kind of cool, and I do like a Land Rover Freelander Serengeti. So having said I don't want any of the cars on this row, I'll actually have all three. Jaguar XKR with the big wheels, Capri 2.8, Chevrolet Corvette left-hand drive, TR4 Chimera. And for all the people that are annoyed by pronouncing Kerbera wrong, I'm going to call it a Chimnea. TVR Chimnea 4 litre, MGB Roadster. Not bothered about anything on that row, although I do like a CL500, but it's got the wrong wheels on, so I'm out. Rover P5, Singer Gazelle. I really like the look of a Singer Gazelle. And a green Stag. Aston Martin Vantage V8 convertible, so you can hear the noise of that V8. And I love this Chevrolet Corvette ZR1. I know it's left-hand drive, but that's cool. A Mini, a Jag, and a beautiful little Alfa Romeo Alfa Sud, 7 to 8. See what that makes. Another XR4, an automatic. Wow, that's going to use a lot of petrol. Triumph Stag and a Saab 900 S convertible. That's a nice looking car, that Saab 900. Ford Escort RS Turbo. We saw these do well at the Ironic sale. TVR Chimnea, another Chimnea. TVR Chimnea 450. Peugeot 403 pickup, very cool. MGB Roadster, Singer 4AB Roadster, Rolls-Royce Silver Shadow. I like all the cars on this row. I'd have the Singer Roadster. Ford Cortina 1600 Mark II. That looks lovely as well. Not bothered about the Triumph Herald in that colour. Alfa Romeo Giulietta Sprint. Good looking car. 30 to 35. I'm going to guess unsold. Triumph TR4. Fiat X19 MGB Roadster. And we're coming to the end now. Peugeot 304 Cabriolet. Love that. Jaguar XJR, love that. Sierra XR 4x4 Turbo Technics, 5 to 7,000 pounds. It was cool once, not anymore. Austin A135 Princess Limousine, very cool. And we finish with a split screen Morris Minor. So, what were your picks for that auction? Let's go into my screenshots that I took earlier on and just work out which ones I would have taken. I have chosen in this auction, I'll whip you through them really quickly so this video doesn't become too long. We have the Morris Minor Traveller because little Jeff likes it. The Subaru Impreza because it's cooler, it's got gold wheels. The Ford Cortina Mark 1 GT Estate, 7 to 9,000 pounds, and it's got that opening roof. I really like this car. Ford Sierra 1.6 Laser because I'm curious about what it's going to sell for. The Singer Vogue Saloon, it's MOT exempt, you can drive it away. You wouldn't want to though because East Anglia Classic Car Auctions are located on the moon. They are honestly so far from Worcester, it's ridiculous. I love this Triumph Herald 13-60, looks really clean and it's no reserve. The Porsche, I've put the Porsche in here just because I'm curious as to what it would make, although it's blue with blue, not sure about that. The Peugeot 106 GTI, obviously, if you are my age, you will agree. I quite like this 911 3.4 C4 manual coupe. I think that could be a 7 grand car, we'll find out. XR2 we've got in just to see what the market's doing, and I really love the Ford Granada Scorpio 24 valve Cosworth. It's no reserve. I'm going to read a bit more on the description. Maybe we could pop a bid on that because I really like the look of those, and it's a Cosworth, and it's basically the only way I'm going to be able to afford to own a Cosworth. C32 AMG, as I said, 50 Shades of Grey, but a cool car, and it's no reserve. Be interested to see what it makes. The VW Polo C, I just love a bread van. They're very cool. Now, this Buick Wildcat left-hand drive. I'm going to go away and do some research. If you know some stuff about the Buick Wildcat, let me know, because that's the sort of car that like the down on his luck good guy would drive. It's a bit Big Lebowski actually, isn't it? Maybe that's why I like it. cheeky bit on that. I like this Jag because it's almost the same spec that my dad had one many years ago. That's very cool. And the Arnage red label. I love these big Bentleys, and I love that they're all worth 12 grand. Volvo 740 GLE, you know I like that one, and the Hilux as well. Just be really cool to see what the Hilux sells for. The Alfa Romeo SPV is just beautiful. Look at the proportions on that car. It's like a Volkswagen Scirocco, but pretty. I'm sorry, I just don't like Volkswagen Siroccos. I do like that Vauxhall Tigra Checkers though. I think that's very cool, and with no reserve, that's probably about 1,500 quid. Really nice buy, because you just don't see those anymore, and I really like the Ford Taunus at 5 to 6. Wrong time, Jeff. It's earlier than that. Auction starts at 9. Hey, managed to get that dad joke in again. Zastava Yugo 55, left-hand drive with no reserve. That's very tempting as well. Subaru SVX. Subaru SVXs are just cool. I will not argue with you on that one. Volvo 850 T5S Estate. It looks like it needs a bit of work, so I don't know. I'll have to do some more digging on that one. The Renault 19, you know I like it. The Citroen ZX Volcane, and then a Porsche 911 3.6 C4. I really like that 911. But have I had my fingers burnt already? And they weren't even my fingers that were burning. It was someone else that bought that car. I'm just having my fingers burnt on their behalf. BMW 735, you all know I love an E38, and these TD V8 Range Rovers are very popular now, thanks to Harry Metcalf. That Mitsubishi Shogun, cool car. That's a bit of a lifetime car, that, isn't it? Should survive the apocalypse. What do you think? Bedford Rascal, it's just cool because it's called a Rascal. And then the Range Rover 3.5 V8, you'd have to be mad to buy that. And I've put that in my picks just because I'm curious what it'll sell for. A couple of bikes I'm interested in. The CB125, because I quite fancy doing my CBT again this year and rocking around on that locally. Same reason I like the Honda C90. I really like the Wosley 14-60. It's just cool. And obviously the Plymouth Station Wagon left-hand drive, estimate 6 to 8. Could that be a Jeff bargain at 3.5? Don't fancy trying to find parts for it, but it is just beautiful. Look at those rear fenders. Not fenders, wings, you know what I mean. The Ford Tudor, left-hand drive, I love that for all the same reasons. That's very cool, estimate 7 to 9. And the Mondeo, I reckon that'll go cheap, you know. That's a bit of fun, that is. You could raise some money for charity with that. Citroen BX, I don't want it, but I just find it curious that they did a four-wheel drive GTI BX. The Honda Civic VTI S Jordan, very cool. The Carlton Diplomat, I know Ian from Cherished Vehicle Insurance really likes these, so it might be worth keeping an eye on the auction for that. And the Starlet Glanzer, in it blood. Yeah, wicked. I really like the Porsche 996 3.6 C4 Tiptronic, but I just, having had a manual, I need a manual. And the Jaguars, it's just interesting to see what they sell for, because it tells you where the market is at. Then you've got the Noble M12. I've already talked about that. I just think that's a very, very cool car for the money, and would be a lot of fun on a track day. Aston Martin DB9 Volante. Can you buy a better looking car for 26 to 28,000 pounds? I'm not sure you can. The two Cosworths as well I've put in just because I want to see what they sell for. I prefer the Sapphire. And then the Bentley Azure. I mean, that's just amazing. I would love to put a tow bar on that and take all that stuff in the trailer and drive down to the bottom of, I don't know, Europe, wherever. 1937 AC Special, it's just very cool. What a neat little thing, and it's no reserve. The Lagonda as well. What a beautiful, imposing car that is. I love the Lagonda. Yellow M3 Evolution, wicked. And then the Chevrolet Corvette ZR1. I think the Corvette is, I mean, what a great car for shows and just messing around with at 13 to 15,000 pounds. Up the budget a bit and you can have this Saab 900S convertible. Sorry, dip the budget a bit. Only 7 to 9,000 pounds on that, and it looks lovely. The Rolls Royce, because it's a gold Rolls Royce and that makes it cool. And lastly, the Peugeot 304 Cabriolet. I like that a lot. Cool. Right, now you're going to see my face again. Getting very warm in the Volvo. My hat's covered in paint. Oh, do you like my headlining as well? It's surfing magazines. And if you look here, whee! Yeah, so I did that a while ago. Right, that is my rundown of the Anglia Classic Car Auction sale. I'm going to get back to working on the motorhome. This sale takes place tomorrow, and all the cars I highlighted at the end, those are the cars that I'm going to talk about when I do my auction rundown, when we know what those cars sold for. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope the pace wasn't too fast for you. Let me know your comments. Tell me what cars you're looking at in the auction. What do you fancy? And yeah, was the video okay? Thank you very much for watching. No, really, genuinely, thank you very much for watching. Please do hit the subscribe button, because my kids say I never ask you to. So here I am asking you to hit the subscribe button if you made it to the end. And if you made it to the end of the video, the code word for if you did make it to the end of the video is, Jeff, does Mrs. Does Mrs. Jeff know that you deliberately put the girl in the bikini directly above your head? No, she doesn't. She's never noticed. Do you remember when I used to do this? Jeff buys cars. Still, YouTube's most boring car channel.